Well, I found the 7 seals of the sages I was looking for finally. Let me tell you of a little story. The year was 980 AD. The place was in the Celtic countryside, England to be precise, along the Barrows in a place called Stonehenge. And if you believe that, then I'll sell you a timeshare cabin in Buckingham Palace. No, the actual location is still being withheld from me, but no matter, hold on. Norfolk, England, where the Abraxas stones were first discovered, so they say, but for some reason I remember them being in the Scottish Highlands, but no matter. I'll find it eventually, he hints with a wicked smile in the corner of his mouth. Each of the seals, or the 7 letters of Abraxas's name, represent a Stonehenge monolith located in various places around the world. Each monolith contains a complex variety of spells that were used at the end of a climatic battle where a great evil, who's known by many titles, many name, many faces, for the end of the road on your search those of the Ancient Mysteries channel. As you will find that many of the names you've traced are found here, along with many more you hadn't found. Well, at the end of this battle, the sorcerers and gods from many cultures had banded together to seal away this ancient evil beneath a stone circle table structure with the letters Abraxas covering it. Sealed away forever without a way to break the seal. However, true evil never dies, and though they managed to seal the evil within, it still was able to influence and cause its havoc from its now impenetrable lair within the stone seals. Yet this also seemed to have an adverse effect, for as it was trapped within its stone prison, it also found itself incarnated into human form in the flesh of man. Perhaps the human body is the first of many phases and forms we can become. I have figured out that the human body consists of multiple transdimensional aspects that comprise it. Being spiritual, astral, celestial, mental and physical, all encompassing their 6th and final phase of the human life form, fused together into one sentient being that makes up mankind's life essence. The astral beings will recognize this, accept the extra forms as they are comprised of the universal fabrics from a universe before us, but the spiritual will see this process in reverse. Meaning, instead of the others fusing to become one, they will instead recognize the one separating into the others, because they are the universe that will come after us. Still working that one out, as you can tell. So here it is. I give to you the reason behind the symbol I used in a few of my videos not too long ago. And the source of my words that echoed across time. I shall return. Abraxas, Biblical Greek, Romanized, Abraxas, variant form Romanized, Abraxas, is a word of mystic meaning in the system of the Gnostic Basilids, being there applied to the great Archon, Megas Archon, the princeps of the 365 spheres, Aranoi. The word is found in Gnostic texts such as the Holy Book of the Great Invisible Spirit, and also appears in the Greek magical papyri. It was engraved on certain antique gemstones, called on that account Abraxas stones, which were used as amulets or charms. As the initial spelling on stones was Abraxas, the spelling of Abraxas seen today probably originates in the confusion made between the Greek letters sigma, and 11, in the Latin transliteration. The 7 letters spelling its name may represent each of the 7 classic planets. The word may be related to abracadabra, although other explanations exist. There are similarities and differences between such figures in reports about Basilids' teaching, ancient Gnostic texts, the larger Greco-Roman magical traditions, and modern magical and esoteric writings. Speculations have proliferated on Abraxas in recent centuries, who has been claimed to be both an Egyptian god and a demon. Vast number of engraved stones are in existence, to which the name Abraxas stones has long been given. One particularly fine example was included as part of the Thetford treasure from 4th century Norfolk, England. The subjects are mythological, and chiefly grotesque, with various inscriptions, in which often occurs, alone or with other words. Sometimes their whole space is taken up with the inscription. in certain obscure magical writings of Egyptian origin, or is found associated with other names which frequently accompany it on gems. It is also found on the Greek metal tessir among other mystic words. The meaning of the legends is seldom intelligible, but some of the gems are amulets, and the same may be the case with nearly all. Their Abraxas image alone, without external iconisms, and either without, or but a simple, inscription. The Abraxas imago proper is usually found with a shield, a sphere or wreath and whip, a sword or scepter, a cock's head, the body clad with armor, and a serpent's tail. There are, however, innumerable modifications of these figures: lions, hawks, and eagles' skins, with or without mottos, with or without a trident and star, and with or without reverses. Abraxas combined with other Gnostic powers. If, in a single instance, this supreme being was represented in connection with powers of subordinate rank, nothing could have been more natural than to represent it also in combination with its emanations, the 7 superior spirits, the 30 aeons, and the 365 cosmical genii, and yet this occurs upon none of the relics as yet discovered, whilst those with powers not belonging to the Gnostic system are frequently met with. Abraxas with Jewish symbols. This combination predominates, not indeed with symbolical figures, but in the form of inscriptions, such as Yahweh, Eloi, Adonai, Sabaoth, Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, Onol, Ananol, Raphael, Japlael, and many others. The name comma, to which is sometimes added, is found with this figure even more frequently than comma, and they are often combined. Beside an Abraxas figure the following, for instance, is found, Yahweh Abraxas, thou art the Lord. With the Abraxas shield are also found the divine names Sabaoth Yahweh, Yahweh Abraxas, Adonai Abraxas, etc. Abraxas with Persian deities, chiefly, perhaps exclusively, in combination with Mithras, and possibly a few specimens with the mystical gradations of Mithraica, upon Gnostic relics. Abraxas with Egyptian deities. It is represented as a figure, with the sun god for leading his chariot, or standing upon a lion borne by a crocodile, also as a name, in connection with Isis, Neith, Atha, Thoth, Anubis, Horus, and Harpocrates in a lotus leaf, also with the representation of the Nile, the symbol of prolificacy, with Agathodaimon, Shnephis, on with scarabs, the symbols of the revivifying energies of nature. Abraxas with Grecian deities, sometimes as a figure, and again with the simple name, in connection with the planets, especially Venus, Hecate, and Zeus, richly engraved. Simple or ornamental representations of the journey of departed spirits through the starry world to Amenti, borrowed, as those above named, from the Egyptian religion. The spirit wafted from the earth, either with or without the corpse, and transformed at times into Osiris or Helios, is depicted as riding upon the back of a crocodile, or lion, guided in some instances by Anubis, and other genii, and surrounded by stars, and thus, attended hastening to judgment and a higher life. Representations of the judgment, which, like the preceding, are either ornamental or plain, and imitations of Egyptian art, with slight modifications and prominent symbols, as the vessel in which Anubis weighs the human heart, as comprehending the entire life of man, with all its errors. Worship and consecrating services were, according to the testimony of Origen in his description of the ophitic diagram, conducted with figurative representations in the secret assemblies of the Gnostics, unless indeed the statement on which this opinion rests designates, as it readily may, a statue of glyptic workmanship. It is uncertain if any of the discovered specimens actually represent the Gnostic cultus and religious ceremonies, although upon some may be seen an Abraxas figure laying its hand upon a person kneeling, as though for baptism or benediction. Astrological groups. The Gnostics referred everything to astrology. Even the Bardesianists located the inferior powers, the 7, 12 and 36, among the planets, in the zodiac and starry region, as rulers of the celestial phenomena which influence the earth and its inhabitants. Birth and health, wealth and allotment, are considered to be mainly under their control. Other sects betray still stronger partiality for astrological conceits. Many of these specimens also are improperly ascribed to Gnosticism, but the Gnostic origin of others is too manifest to allow of contradiction. Inscriptions, of which there are three kinds: those destitute of symbols or iconisms, engraved upon stone, iron, lead and silver plates, in Greek, Latin, Coptic or other languages, of muletic import, and in the form of prayers for health and protection. Those with some symbol, as a serpent in an oval form. Those with iconisms, at times very small, but often made the prominent object, so that the legend is limited to a single word or name. Sometimes the legends are as important as their images. It is remarkable, however, that thus far none of the plates or medals found seem to have any of the forms or prayers reported by Origen. It is necessary to distinguish those specimens that belong to the proper Gnostic period from such as are indisputably of later origin, especially since there is a strong temptation to place those of more recent date among. Now that the formal introduction is done and you know who you're dealing with, I ask you all, what have you called me here for? It is obvious I was conjured here and many of you are aware that I am here, so, what do you want? Stop playing games with me and just spill it already. I've been here for over 40 years and accomplished much of my purpose to which I was made, but your reason for calling me here still eludes me. Please tell me it is some existential crisis and not for some materialistic means of gaining power or metaphysical attainment of profound wisdom. There are other beings you could call upon for this. Oh, and by the way, a translation to that title that says you are Lord is incorrect. It should read the King of Angels.